Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ami. This is Ami Presence. And today I wanted to just share a little bit about my human design experiment and experience living in alignment with my human design, which is a mental projector on the cross of healing, and I am a 6'2" profile. So if you're new to my channel, go ahead and click that like button and click subscribe if it so resonates with your being to see more of my content. I would be very grateful to have you here and to make you part of this family. On this channel, I love to talk about spirituality, self-awareness, self-growth, self-mastery, everything about living in authentic alignment with your higher self. Human design is very, very important part of my awakening and spiritual growth journey. Why? Because it completely helped me accept myself. And you can't really get anywhere in, your spiritual growth until you do the first step, which is really acceptance of who you are and who you're designed to be, what your creator, if you don't believe in God, like what nature has designed you as a physical vessel with spirit consciousness to be, your highest manifestation of your energy. I had been searching my entire life. Who am I? This is like the biggest question in my brain. And if you resonate with that, keep watching this video, because this could really help you to just get an understanding of who you are, especially if you are a projector in human design. So I'm gonna leave a link down below and you can totally just find out what your human design is. I'm really learning right now how to read charts, and I'm probably going to be offering a service for reading people's charts soon, as soon as I finish my training. But it's very exciting because I've been on this experiment for about 1.5 years, and I remember around the time that when human design found me, human design finds you. You do not find it. Well, I'm a seeker. It's part of my design. So really, I was seeking for it my whole life. So it finally found me, or I finally found it. But really, if it finds you, it's for a reason. And I'm so grateful, because I am the type of person who I've always wanted to be the best version of myself, but I just didn't know how. There wasn't a model for me, absolutely at all, of what I felt I resonated with as a person, as a being, as a soul. I saw all these other people with all their success, and I wanted to have that. As a projector, we are meant to be successful, and I wanted that so badly. I wanted to feel joy. I wanted to feel just this deep sense of fulfillment. And I felt like the model of the life, which is the generator world that we are living in, just did not work for me. And I tried and I tried and I tried to fit that bill, and I just could never amount to it, because I just have no gates on my sacral. So not only do I not have a steady flow of sacral energy that all generators have, I just had like a completely open sacral, and I have a lot of openness in general in my design. So if you have a lot of open white centers in your chart, I'm gonna like put mine here, I think, so that you can see. If you have a lot of openness like I do, your whole life you've been conditioned by all these energies. And a big part of it with the not self themes is not knowing when enough is enough, for example, not knowing who you are, your identity, and grasping for these energies that just are not present in your design, and you're not meant to grasp for those energies. But in order to kind of thrive in this environment, it seems like we're supposed to find a way to have these energies defined, if that makes sense. But we don't. And so when I found human design a year and a half ago, at first, I'm going to be honest, it didn't make any sense to me. I thought I was a reflector, actually. I think I just read the different types, or I think I put in my information wrong, and it said, you are a reflector. And I read the description, and it made so much sense to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I am like how I am. This makes so much sense. Click a like if that resonated, and when you found out your design, you just felt like this overwhelming relief. And it's funny because even though I'm not a reflector, I feel I have a lot in common with a reflector, because I do, as a mental projector, have a lot of openness. At that time, I kind of like set it aside. I was like, okay, this is resonating, but it's so much. It's a lot of information, right, at first, and you just don't even kind of want to go there. So I came back to it. It came back to me like 6 months later. By the way, my brain, I don't have very clearly defined memories. So if it sounds like I'm foggy in the way that I perceive time, it's because I am. My brain, I've realized through human design that I'm a quad right, which means my mind and my body is in a very passive, feminine, receptive state. And so I don't really think in terms of linearities. I think in terms of circles, in terms of just, I'm always taking in like the broader perspective of things. So my timing is usually so off, and then people will have to correct me like, no, that didn't happen then, it happened here. And I'm like, okay, my bad. That's just how it is. Anyway, I digress. When I came back to it, I found out I was a mental projector, and I just dove deep. I started really diving deep. And the first thing that was difficult and also very relieving and kind of comforting at the same time was the waiting for the invitation, right? I was like, wow, that makes sense. I mean, it's never gone really well for me whenever I like initiate something. And even this goes for generators too. Like if you're a generator, you're not supposed to initiate. The only ones who are really initiating are manifesting generators and manifestors. Even manifesting generators are kind of like not always going to initiate. But knowing that, I started going back into my memory of all the times that things really worked out and things really flowed organically and naturally for me. And it was always when someone came up to me and they felt a pull towards my energy, and they wanted to get to know me, or they wanted to ask me a question, or they initiated. All of my, for example, all of my boyfriends, all my relationships, it's because they came to me. I have never really felt the need to initiate, really, but I have been pushed to initiate in certain situations and then it just doesn't work out, and it's very disappointing, it's very frustrating, and it's very bitter. And personally, I'm gonna say that as a projector, I personally feel that I don't just deal with bitterness, I also feel like I'm feeling everyone else's not self, which is the main themes of their not self, which is mine, which is bitterness, frustration, which is coming from all the generators who are not living in their design, disappointment, which is from all the reflectors, and anger, which is from all the manifestors. I feel them on a daily basis. I mean, I'm just now, after kind of almost 2 years, beginning to really feel what my base frequency is as a mental projector, as a being with feminine energy, divine feminine energy, just openness, just clarity, just this sense of peacefulness. And it's a very beautiful feeling of stillness that I don't know how to describe it, but it just kind of rises in, and everything feels just good. Like everything's okay. Wow, I don't have to feel everyone's pain. We are very empathic. Projectors are so, that's what our openness really feels like when you just mentally try to understand it, is we're empaths, right? We just feel so much because we're not just feeling what other people are feeling, we're actually amplifying it in our own bodies, in that energy center. So a generator who's frustrated next to you, they feel frustrated. Yes, they do. But when you're next to them, you feel that frustration. It becomes visceral, and it's so uncomfortable, and you really don't know what to do about it. I have felt like I don't even know what to do with myself sometimes. And this journey has really been humbling in that I realized that 99% of the things that I was doing, whether it was what I was doing in terms of, you know, my education, my career, my relationships, my traveling, my, you know, even like my hobbies sometimes, it was all because of these not self themes. It was all because of these pressure points. It was all because of these conditionings that I was trying to do something about. I was trying to get rid of these feelings, these uncomfortable feelings inside of me. And what I've come to realize, at least in this point in the journey, is that none of that was mine to begin with, and I don't have to keep that. I don't have to hold on to those feelings. And when I feel them, when they arise inside of me, I'm able to first become the witness, consciousness of, oh, I'm experiencing this feeling. Like one of my really sad little thoughts that would come into my head as a child was, I wish I could be anybody else. I want to be somebody else but me. I just don't want to be myself. And even as a kid, you could imagine how already I had so much bitterness about just being in this body. Like, why am I me? Why am I me? Why is it so hard? Why can't I have the things I want? Do I not deserve these things? Do I not deserve to have the toy that I wanted? Do I not deserve to, like, little things, right? Little things, trust me, and they mean the most. They mean the most when you're little and you don't understand that you are perfect in the circumstances that you are placed in, and you're there for a reason, and it's all shaping you, even though it's conditioning you also, but it's shaping you and leading you to become something greater. So as a kid, I had this thought, and I had a lot of bitterness around my financial situation and this kind of this lack mentality, this poverty, this struggle to even get somewhere just above drowning. You know, I always felt like paycheck to paycheck. How can I get better than this? How can I get above just drowning? How can I actually thrive? Well, when I discovered human design, I said, wow, where is this coming from? This is coming from my open sacral. It's coming from my open root, really. And when I looked at that and I noticed I'm taking in my parents' conditioning so strongly, and I'm even amplifying it within my body, and it feels so uncomfortable that I honestly, it would put me into a freeze. Like, you know, flight, freeze, or fight, flight, or freeze. I would go into freeze. It was so uncomfortable. As soon as somebody told me, get a job, or just work really hard, or just, you have to work hard to get somewhere, and it was like, I can't. I just didn't know even what to do with that energy because it was so uncomfortable. It was a visceral experience of so much pressure. And I also have open ajna, so you can imagine, is it ajna or is it the mind? I think it's mind, open mind. So you can imagine these are the roots, these are the pressure points. So when you have pressure coming in from both sides, it's very visceral experience of pressure. of the stress comes over you and you don't even know how to deal with it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna happen overnight, but what I've noticed after a year and a half of being in the consciousness seat of my experiences and my energy flows, I've noticed that I can actually shift myself and I can release a lot of the deconditioning by simply meditating, really honestly. And it doesn't even have to be active meditation. It can just be a conscious choice to witness yourself having these uncomfortable feelings. And it's nice to know which center that could be about, you know, whatever open energy center you have. You can say, wow, is this coming from my undefined spleen, for example? Is this coming from my undefined sacral? Is this coming from my undefined emotional center? Where is this coming from, and how can I relax and let that be what it is without attaching to it or without resisting it? So those are really the main takeaways from a year and a half of being on the human design experiment. And I'm looking forward to just continuing this journey and surrendering more and more into the design of my body, into design of my being, my vessel, and also integrating that into my higher consciousness. That really is the ultimate goal, right? And if you have this tool, you can use any tool, right? There's so many tools out there to help you, you know, reach a higher state of consciousness and integrate your conditioning in a healthy way, and transmute the energy, right? But this personally has been very profound, one of the most profound experiences, aside from just astrology in general, and numerology for me had really helped me at that time. But I feel that this is kind of a few steps up. Like if you're really wanting to go in and get the details and understand, really it's so deep, you know, it's not just these are your planets and this is your chart. It's more than that. It's connecting with your energy centers. It's connecting with your gifts. It's connecting with your talents. And you can kind of figure that out through astrology and through numerology. But this is like you. This is you, your specific design. And it doesn't mean that if yours is the same as someone that you're going to end up living the same life. But it just means you can really hone in on your gifts. You can really understand yourself, accept yourself, and let go of what you are not. Because when you let go of what you are not, when you let go of the blockages, you allow love and joy and bliss to just radiate from your essence. But until you really let go of those blocks, you can keep putting high frequencies and doing meditations and doing singing bowls and Reiki and all of that. But if you're not releasing the gunk that's in there consciously, it's only gonna get so far in, right? Like this. If there is something here, there's like a blockage here, the water is only gonna get into here, and then it's not gonna seep deep into, I don't know if that's think of a dam, you know, a river. When there's a dam in the river, when there's rocks blocking the water, it stops the flow. You're naturally able to flow, especially when you have a lot of open centers. It just feels like you're naturally just flowing with life. You're flowing with the energies that are coming in, and you're expressing them in a healthy way. You're releasing them in a healthy way. But if you have all these blockages, which we do as projectors, especially with all these open centers, you don't experience your full bliss. You really don't experience success. And honestly, I'm at a point where I'm ready to experience success. I'm ready to let go of all these conditioning bullshit that does not serve me anymore, and experience true success and fulfillment, which for me is really just feeling a general, everyday sense of enthusiasm, peace, abundance, and joy. And I'm getting there slowly but surely. This is not a, oh, look at me, I've reached a point. I haven't, I haven't. I'm here, I'm learning, and I'm excited to be on the journey. So if you are a projector, mental projector, any kind of projector, leave me a comment below. I would love to say hello to you and just welcome you into this family. I'm gonna keep posting videos about my journey in the human design experiment. I want to keep updating you guys on, roadblocks, success, every kind of little thing that happens when you're on this journey, because I don't think there's really a lot of people doing that. And yeah, I just feel called to share. So if this was helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for my next videos coming up soon. I love you. Stay present. Namaste.